I'm going to start over with the Democrats. Since I'm a Republican, I want to show them my bias, so I'm going to start with the Democrats. John Krasinski is the chair of the Young Democrats of Massachusetts, which is a statewide organization. He's been a member of the organization for 3 years and began volunteering after the 2006 gubernatorial race. So he's been active for a number of years as a volunteer. Tina Stanton actually started in politics as a young Republican in D.C. She became a Democrat, and she's now the chair of the Greater Boston Young Democrats, and has worked on dozens of campaigns starting when she was 7, so she's precocious, and remains active, and she's been an active member of the Young Dems of Massachusetts and Greater Boston for about 2 years now. Ross Hemminger is currently serving as the vice chair of the Massachusetts Federation of Young Republicans. He's been a member of the YRs in both Ohio and in Florida, and has also worked on a lot of campaigns at both the state and local level. Has worked also professionally for the College Republicans National Committee, as well as Go Proud, a conservative organization. And Jeff Semon, I actually voted for you, turns out. So, sorry to your friends. I live in Belmont, and I called on some friends who are actually Republican Party and said, who should I vote for? And they said, you. So, sorry. He ran for Congress and lost in a three-way Republican primary for the 5th Congressional District. He is from Lexington, which he proudly knows is the birthplace of American liberty, as opposed to Concord, because that's the Lexington Concord.
It's our town office.
Right. They had that. So he's got a 10-month-old daughter. He's a business management consultant with 14 years of private sector experience, and is currently the spokesman for the Mass Federation of Young Republicans, and has been on TV, radio, and other media outlets talking about the Republicans. Tonight, we're not just going to, I wanted to begin with just a general conversation about the topic of tonight's debate, which would be sort of world affairs and national security, because that's what World Boston's all about. And I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of the groups that come to America, specifically to Boston, they come visit me at Harvard, we talk politics, elections, it's always a lot of fun. Why don't I just begin, us Democrats first, and we'll kind of take turns. Maybe articulate President Obama or the Democratic Party, whichever way you want to do it, sort of vision for America's role in the world today.
So the way I see President Obama and his foreign policy, I see him as, he came in, as an individual, I felt that our place in the world, I felt like other countries didn't respect us the way they had during previous administrations. So I think early on, President Obama's role was to go out, meet with other foreign leaders, and rebuild those relationships, rebuild those allegiances with other countries. I think he's done a really good job, and I think, Tina, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Actually, one point in particular, when Obama was elected, I was still a young Republican at the time, and one of the worries that I had was his appointment of then Senator Clinton to Secretary of State. She hadn't had much foreign policy experience besides being First Lady. And I discussed this with many friends across the board, across the aisle, I suppose, and I have been so incredibly impressed. Obviously, there have been issues in every presidential, in every foreign policy throughout history, there have been issues, but overall, the Obama administration, and particularly the Department of State, have just done so much to further the way that the world sees us and the things that we're willing to bring to the table. The diplomatic, reputation of our country across the world has just grown, and it's truly grown at times. We've done a wonderful job throughout that, and so back in my younger days, I had to eat my words, and now as a Democrat, I'm actually proud to say that we have done that the Democratic administration has done that for us and for the world.
Great, thank you. Ross and Jeff, you guys want to take a stab on, either on behalf of the party or Governor Romney?
Sure. Well, a couple things. Hillary Clinton was a United States Senator prior to becoming Secretary of State, so I think she might have some foreign policy experience there. I think she's doing a pretty good job.
Did you hear that? Agreement. Bipartisan agreement.
I was hoping we could get to that.
Okay. Go on, sorry.
In the Republican Party, there's, especially with younger people in the Republican Party, there's, maybe you could say disagreement, but I think there's not a only say that Republicans are less concerned about how the world views us and probably a heck of a lot more concerned about how safe we are as a country. And that's one of the major reasons why I'm a Republican. I personally am less concerned about what Europe or the people that speak at cocktail parties.
I think speak a little bit closer.
Sure. I think in our founding documents, it's very a little awe-inspiring to be in this room and talk about these issues, but one of the primary purposes of our government is to protect us, protect its citizens, especially from foreign threats. So that's paramount to Republicans. That's what I see Mitt Romney doing, the Republican Party standing for, rather than our reputation.
Ross?
My problems are not with Secretary Clinton. She's a classy lady, and that's great. My problems are with her boss. I think that at every turn in his administration, President Obama has repeatedly failed the American people, Libya being the latest example. I'm constantly surprised by how many people talk about how the world views us and how we need to focus on how the world views us, and it's so important that how the world views us. It's kind of like working in politics. There are people that I like and I'm friends with, but my concern isn't that they like me or that we're friends. My concern is their ability to do their job, and it's predicated on nothing other than that. So that's just kind of an analogy, but I think being concerned with the way that the world views you is in the end, it's just going to make you, forget or not focus on making America a safer place.
Trey, can I?
Yeah,
I want to piggyback because I think they made some excellent points. I would push back on safety, and I would suggest that President Obama promised to end the war in Iraq. He did that. I think he's done a good job with Afghanistan, including the surge of troops. We've done a good job in this country, God bless our troops, on getting the terrorists. I mean, I think every time President Obama has said, those who attack our country and terrorists are going to pay, those people have paid. I mean, Libya is the most recent example that you guys brought up, and I don't think we have that resolved yet. I think we're still trying to figure out exactly what happened and trying to identify who perpetrated the crime so that we can go get them. But I have no doubt that President Obama, Secretary of State Clinton, the Defense Department is going to find these people, and they will end up paying for that. So I think, going back to my original point about having strong allegiances, I think having strong allegiances and having respect from other countries is important. It's not as important as security and being safe. Obviously, that's paramount. But to have strong allegiances, you can then use those relationships to build security and build a stronger, not only stronger country, but a stronger, safer world for everyone. So I think that was kind of the point I was trying to make. It wasn't as eloquent as Steve was.
You guys want to respond to that, or not?
Well, I'll mention briefly. While President Obama did campaign on ending the war in Iraq, he did so. He actually, in policy, ended it on President Bush's timetable. We already set the withdrawal plans well in advance. So, and there's quite a few Republicans that disagree with the war in Iraq, and I'm not here to defend George Bush, but the fact is, when you look at it, what Ross has said, it's been feckless. It's all his foreign policy throughout his administration has been lead from behind, and America has never really led from behind. And to keep us safe in a very dangerous world, to have that policy is reckless in most Republicans' opinions.
And one other thing, you brought up meeting with other world leaders. I thought it was interesting when Prime Minister Netanyahu was in the country, and I believe it was the Leno show. He had to go on the Leno show to make a campaign appearance. He couldn't be bothered to meet with the Prime Minister of one of our closest allies. I just find that really interesting.
It was The View.
Oh, The View, excuse me. Barbara Walters would have my head.
Yeah, Tina.
Very briefly, one, I would never defend anyone's choice to go on The View, but as far as doing what we can to make not just our own borders in our own country a safer place, but the world in general, I think that, and one thing that we've seen done extraordinarily well over the last 4 years is that diplomacy is an integral part of that. And for so many years, and these are politicians that I supported, and these are initiatives that I supported at the time. For so many years, that was not considered the case. It was not said, let's have all of the intelligence before we go after people. It was not said, let's make sure we're going after the right people. And now we do that, and I don't think that that's leading from behind. I think that that's leading with our brains as opposed to our emotions. I think that that's something to be commended of the last 4 years and this administration.
You mentioned securing our borders. This is a man who promised that he would pass comprehensive immigration reform in his first year, who had supermajorities in both bodies, and still wasn't able to do it. If I was president and I had a supermajority, you bet a hell of a lot more would get done. Just saying. I think most people would agree with that too.
Do you all want to respond to that, or want to move to the next topic? You're good? Okay. All right.